All right. So I'm Addison, for those that don't know, and I've been an art director, graphic designer, and web developer for many years. And I like to share fun little web things that I come across in my work. I'm a freelancer, do a lot of WordPress development, love GeneratePress, GenerateBlocks. So, and today it's more with GenerateBlocks, and we've been looking at the overlay panel. And more specifically, I've just had an instance where I had to create a modal pop-up for a YouTube video, and I wanted it to autoplay. I wanted to use the standard embed. I'm going to show you why, just to make life easier. And yeah, so I've done really no prep work. I thought I'd just walk through it from beginning to end. We're going to write a little JavaScript, and that's what it's going to take. This is my child theme that is on my Cloudways server. I love Cloudways hosting. Yes, there's an affiliate link in the description, but I'm not a great salesman, so I offer it for what it is. I enjoy it. I encourage you to try it, as well as GenerateBlocks and GeneratePress if you haven't already. Great theme and block plugin builder, whatever you want to call it. So I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put it. Our modal, that is. Let me just stick it on the home page. Got a little carousel here that I've been playing with that has one image in it, or maybe it has three. They're all the same. That's something else I need to play with. But I am going to, let's see, and I'm using my child theme, obviously, like I just said. This is my child theme, my base that I replicate on Cloudways, by the way, very easily when I'm creating client projects or doing any testing work, anything like that. So I do need to look and see what. Yeah. Okay. I do have a little cheat sheet sort of open here in the other tab. So first of all, let's go create an overlay panel. And just for the sake of time, I'm going to we'll call this dynamic YouTube. The idea is that you can create a link that's going to have a class or a data attribute, I'm not sure yet, that is going to open the modal and push in the URL, the YouTube URL or ID, or I don't know, I'm not quite sure how to. So first of all, we're going to pull in from the pattern library available in GenerateBlocks. These are all the pop-ups. I just want something simple. And that's just going to take a minute. Here, I'm going to pause while these load so we don't have to wait. All right, I pulled a really simple one because we're going to strip all this stuff out. Because all we do need the exit, but none of this. We're going to put in a YouTube embed, and we can make the default whatever we want. Let me see over here. I like pulling movie stuff. So we'll do movie trailers, old movie trailers. I think if it'll load for me. Yeah. Okay. Oh, wait. Sorry, I gotta pull the right one. Is this? Oh yeah, it is. So the Empire Strikes Back movie trailer premiered in 1979. I didn't know that. This was the first Star Wars movie I ever saw. So yeah, so all we have to do is copy the URL and embed it. Hang on. Okay, so I have a content security policy in place, and it is boogering this up. So just a second, and I'm going to go fix that real quick. I'm just going to disable it for now. There's another video on that. So hang on. So I thought I'd show this just for the sake of how my child theme works, and this reoccurs. So this is the functions file, functions.php file of your child theme. And down at the very bottom, I have a bunch of includes or requires, whatever you want to call it. And you can see a lot of them are commented out. And I only include the ones that I want to be using. And there is security.php that has my content security policy. I'm just going to comment that require statement out so that it doesn't include it, and we'll be on our way. Okay, so back to elements. Back to, oh, not elements, back to overlay panels. And yes, I know Breeze is not on. Let's go to dynamic YouTube overlay. It's going to display everywhere. I do need a category because I get OCD about it. Now, why is it still not? Oh, I wonder if I have a style that's keeping it from displaying. There's that. Okay, just a second. And this is my fault. It's my child theme, so just a second. Okay, again, to show you guys what happened, and it wasn't my child theme. It's actually this particular block that I pulled in. I'd forgotten. I dealt with this before. So change that to block or even default, and it'll show up. So yeah, my bad. We do want to, let's see, where is sizing, max width? Let's do like 800. I want it kind of big. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so there's that. So I'm going to save, and we're going to look at some other options that are already set, because we want this bad boy to panel options, panel type. Yep. No category. Yeah, I'm going to want to set that. I just do. Show backdrop, no. Animation, Not going to worry about all that right now. Okay, there's a data attribute that will trigger it, and we do want that. Where is my, oh, I guess, okay, so it's going to display everywhere, I guess. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so let's copy the data attribute, and let's look at something real quick here. So this is the container for the YouTube video. Copy the data attribute. Do I want to do it by data attribute? Or do I want to do it with a class? Because I can look for a class or a data attribute. The data attribute, I can pass a value to it, or but I don't need a value. So I just need, yeah, okay. So we're going to call this GPC because I always prefix. Or you know what? Let's give it here. You see, YouTube overlay. We'll do overlay, and then dynamic YouTube. Yeah, I think I like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and move all that. Sure. Okay, so now that class is available, we can look for it. And I think that's all we need until we get to the clicking part. So now let's go. Okay, now if I reload this and we view the source, we should see an overlay panel. Go away. Everything's being really, really slow. Overlay, there it is. Okay, so there is our overlay panel. Overlay content. Look at there. GPC overlay dynamic YouTube. So that's what we're looking for. And within that, it's going to be a figure and, good grief, another wrapper because it's styling, then an iframe. Okay. So that iframe is what we're going to target because it has all the goodies. First of all, well, we'll talk about that when we get to it. Let's go to pages, and let's go to the home page. Okay, so for starters, let's add after, and let's just do a section. We're going to give it all our default stuff. Section inner. Do I have a button group? Did I do button groups? See, button. I did not. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about that. So I'm doing another div inside of our inner container, just so I can have something to put buttons in a nice neat row. So let's do, I didn't have to do the /. Button styles. There's button primary. Get rid of that. Okay. View or open view, view. How do I want to do this? Empire Strikes Back trailer. So let's just keep it simple to begin with. And let me see. Okay, so here, I think, so I've had in my clipboard the data attribute from the overlay panel, the click trigger thing that it gave me when I saved the overlay panel. So I'm going to allow that. And now look at there. So we want to add that. So it's gonna, yep. Okay. So we need that. And I think that's all we need right now, just to play with this a little. All right. So we're setting up the basics. And we have the trailer. Okay. So we can play it. I'm gonna mute it and pause it. And when we close it, it starts over. Okay. One of the things I want to do is I want to have it autoplay. So we're going to set that up first. And we're going to do that through, okay, here's where it gets, okay, so one of the things I want to do, I think, is I want to set the link up to have a fallback. And I don't know if this will work. Let's see what happens. If I put an actual URL in it, but it has an overlay trigger, what will happen? Okay, so it overrides. Okay, so it automatically, okay, cool. Cool. So that's nice. So what happens is there's something in there that disables the actual link. But if for some reason JavaScript's off, it will just open the trailer in YouTube. Nice. Okay, so now we can get to work. It already has the stuff I need in there because I want that URL. From the button. Yeah, so let's, okay, so I'm going to, oh no, let's duplicate that button, view. Now we're gonna view the ghost. If you've watched any of my videos, you know, like these two movies. Okay, so now let me see, let me find the Ghostbusters trailer from 1984. We're gonna love it. Love it. I'm gonna grab that. I'm gonna put that in there. Okay. I think that's the easiest way to do it. And then let's give it, I'm gonna give it a class down here because, wait a minute. No, yeah. trailer's trying to play over here. Yeah, okay, so sorry, I'm thinking. There is a data attribute for these buttons. Okay. That I could search for, but I don't want to have to search for that in particular, although I could. You know, I could, because that is unique. I wonder if you can customize that. That is unique because I have, yeah, okay, so we're going to use that. So no extra code. We're going to use what GenerateBlocks gives us. That is unique to that overlay we just created, and we're going to make it dynamic. So it's, as long as we're using that overlay, it's going to seek to put the URL from the button into the embed, so it will play the trailer that we've told it to and not the default Empire Strikes Back. All right, so even if I click Ghostbusters, it's going to open the Empire Strikes Back. We're going to fix that. We're going to fix that. We're going, yep. Okay, so let me look at my cheat stuff over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and write it directly into my theme. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how that's set up, because you can do it, excuse me, with a script plugin, with a code snippet plugin, no problem. So the way I excuse me, the way I have it set up, I'm going to get a drink of water. Okay, let's see if that's a little better. The way I have it set up is I have this event listener for when the window is loaded to do stuff. So you're going to want to wrap it in this. But I create functions so that if I don't want to do something, excuse me, I just comment it out. So if I don't want to do animations, I don't have to do animations. I don't have to check for scroll animations. I can just comment it out and be done. And these functions all exist down here, but they won't be called or activated because there's no call to the function. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come way down here to the very bottom. And I do like to comment stuff. So let's see, dynamic YouTube GP. Is that a GeneratePress thing? I guess it is. GP. Yeah, I'll do overlay panel stuff. Yep. Okay. What'd I do? Function, and I like to see do YouTube dynamic overlay. Okay, that's the start of our function. All right, so what do we need to do? First of all, we need to look for the presence of those overlays. So let's go grab one. So check for presence of overlay. Whoop. So a constant. So this is something that's not going to change. So I can, JavaScript, when you announce a variable or you declare a variable, you used to do var, like VAR. So you can do var, you can do let. And the thing about constant is that it does not change. And that's just what you do. If you know the value is not going to change, you typically use that. And I won't explain it any further because I don't know. So let's see. Document query selector all. Thank you. And what is? Let's see. So overlay. Okay. So the ID. Oh, you know what? We don't even have to do all. Because we're going to be looking for, I do need Okay, hang on. Let me think for a minute. We do need, so there's only one overlay. So we need that. So we don't need to do query selector all. We just need to do query selector, but we do need to grab each of these buttons. So first, okay, so that would document get element by ID. So we're going to get that first. And that is the ID. To overlay. So there's just one. And then we're going to get buttons. Because those will have, okay, so check for overlay button triggers. Yeah, whatever we want to call it. So again, this will be a constant because we're not gonna, it's not gonna change. And because this was within a function, I don't have to worry too much. I just call it buttons. I guess that's okay. Document query selector all. Okay, now we do need a data attribute, and that is okay because we can use CSS selectors like so. And it's going to grab over all those. Okay, so one thing I like to do, bail out if required elements aren't present. So if we don't see any buttons, we don't need this. So we can simply return. So that just means it's not going to go, we're going to look for these things. If they're not there, then just bail out because we don't need them. So we don't need to run the rest of the function. Okay, so now what do we need to do? Watch for, we need to do clicks. We need to check for clicks. So we have all the buttons. So we're going to have all of the attributes for those buttons. So let's, okay, watch for button clicks and load requested videos accordingly. Okay. So now we need a for each. So for each one of those, we do a function. I'm sorry. I'm having a little, I can't, hang on just a second. Okay. So we're going to do a regular function. We could do an arrow function. It's the new hotness, or it's not the new hotness. It's been around for a while, but so we could write it like we're declaring. So as we loop through this with a for each, we can say, okay, let's call the value or the object button instead of buttons, or, we can call it whatever we want. And then you can do an arrow and get on with your business. But you can also write it like, this is kind of the old way to do it. And I'll leave it like that because I've been doing my functions that way. And I guess I need to rewrite it. I can't remember the advantage or what the differences are. So anyway, we're going to do it the old way, I guess. Okay, so now we want to do some stuff. So for each button add event listener. I think that's right. Click. Hang on just a second. I just realized I left a big old gap there as it was running as I was doing nothing. So I'll edit that out. Okay, so for each button, so I'm gonna make a note. That was at the 27 mark, roughly. Okay, so function, we're going to do another function, and a lot of times, so just an E is used for element, and that's okay, that's fine. So we're going to do something else. So we're going to say whenever a button is clicked, let's watch for what happens, and I'm just going to do this for now, because we're going to see what we're getting. So I like to do this. And let's just take a gander and see where we are so far. So now, so I have my function, but I haven't declared it, or I think that's the word for it. Or maybe I declared it when I wrote it. This is where I call it. Dynamic YouTube overlay request. Sure. Okay, so now it should be doing its thing. So let's go refresh, and we're going to watch our console for stuff. Okay, so pointer event. What all do we see? Source element. Okay, so this is giving us access to some stuff that we're going to need. Target should have a sort or attribute. There's attributes. Href. Node value, href value. Is there something shorter? You get all this stuff. Href. Okay, we can just grab the href. Woo! Okay, so attributes, href. Okay, so let's go back down here and let's figure out what we need. So we know we need let YT YouTube URL or video URL. I want to be clear about it. Equal E. What did we say it was? Because this is the object. Okay, attributes href. Href. And here we can check that again. And I do a lot of this because I can't remember all this stuff. Video URL, video URL. And so this, when this kind of syntax, when you console log, like this is kind of the label of the value and then the value itself. Okay, so let's see again. It's loaded. Oh, href. Okay, cannot read properties of undefined href. So I did not go get the right thing. Okay. Target. Oh, I sure did not. So what did I? Oh, target attributes. Our target. Where'd it go? Target href. So maybe I did that wrong. Target. Because I want to get the URL value from the button so I know what is requested. There we go. Okay. Okay, so let's get rid of those. Let's get rid of that. We know that it's right. Okay, So I'm going to do one thing here because I want to add a little something to it. So let's see, href. What is, okay. If I'm appending something to a value, I want to add, okay, ampersand autoplay. I'm adding another URL parameter to 1. So that should force the, so what we're going to do next, we're going to target the overlay panel and the YouTube video itself, and we're going to replace the URL. So if I click this, this is actually the the Ghostbusters trailer, and we're not going to watch a commercial. So we want that to load within this embed and not load Empire Strikes Back, but load Ghostbusters instead. So first of all, we have that autoplay. Or you know what? No, yeah, that's right. Okay, so so yeah, that is the video URL we want. Next, you know what? We have the YouTube overlay. So let's go ahead out here. So any values we set out here will also be available within this little for each function. That is an anonymous function. I think you can assign a regular function too and then put it out somewhere else. But anyway, this is how I'm going to do it for now. Okay, so we haven't bailed. I guess we, what? No, that's, okay. Get overlay panel iframe source. Okay, so now we want it to be a lit. Oh, do we? Let's see, will that work? Yeah, because we want it to change. So frame source. You know what? We just need the iframe. We just need the iframe because we're going to change its attribute. So that can be a constant. Okay, so let's see. We'll just call it iframe. Can I do that? Can I call it iframe? Is that going to conflict with anything? I don't think so. So we have this YouTube overlay object. So query selector. We might just be able to go down through iframe. Does it have a, let's see, can I get in here? Dynamic YouTube. I guess we could look for that just to confirm it. Wrapper. Does the iframe itself have a class or anything I can target other than iframe? No. Okay. So we could target that just to ensure that it's YouTube. Or does that really matter? We're going to just try that. So now we have iframe. So now we're going to say iframe set attribute source video URL. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what happens. So Empire Strike. Oh, refuse connect. So what? Okay, so let's. Okay, first of all, let's get back down in here. So it didn't change it, or did I screw something up? Did it change it? It did not change it. but it does not like what I'm giving it. Also, it has a title. Ew. So that could affect accessibility. Okay. Let's see. YouTube frame becomes extra. Refuse to display. Okay, so let's comment that out. And let's see what I'm getting here. Frame by frame. Now we troubleshoot. And anyone who's more savvy with JavaScript than I am, which is a lot of you, oh, I see. So it's changed it. Okay. The URL is different. Feature embed. Interesting. So now we actually need a little bit of regular expression, or we need to replace some stuff. So we need to grab that little bit out of this whole thing, which may not be that difficult. Let me look over here. So what do? I search. Extract YouTube video ID from URL with JavaScript. Because that's what I do. I search a lot. And I know there's AI, and AI could help us, I guess. But where's the fun in that? Oh, it actually wants to write the code for me. Oh, yikes. Oh, it wrote a function. That is a long function. Does it really have to be that complicated? Oh, I guess it does. Okay, so a couple different things we could do here. We could either add our own data attribute to this button that just contains the ID of the video. So it would just contain this JNW blah, 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 and get that data attribute. And that would give people two things to do. And sometimes I prefer that path. So you don't have to write a bunch of extra code. So that is the crossroads. Do we include an entirely new function that pulls the ID from the URL for us? Or do we add our own little data attribute? Let me pause just a second. Okay, after much deliberation, we're going to use the function that, in this case, Bing, I use Bing, Google, DuckDuckGo, whatever. We're going to use that function. So we're going to come down, let's see, let me do that up here. And this is why I really didn't want to, because it's long, but what it does is it's covering all the scenarios, whether it's a standard watch URL, short URL, embed URL, short URL, whatever. It's going to extract it. So, yeah, I just copied and pasted it. No shame here, folks. If it gets the job done, that's what the tools are for, right? Let's see. So, now we have our URL. And I think what I can do is, what's the name of the function? Oh, I don't want any example usage. Although that is handy. It's showing you how to call it. Yeah. So I'm copying that, come down here. So we're going to wrap it around this. And I think that will take care of it for us. So it's going to convert it. Yeah, my bad. It's going to convert it into just, oh, so I need to, I need to do a little bit more. Excuse me. So what does this need to look like? And why is all this? Why? Go away, go away, go away, go away. Okay. So, excuse me, let me get more water. Okay. Where's my modal? Here's my overlay. A modal search. Overlay. So, this is the model we want to follow. So let's, so feature O embed. So there, that. So let's do this. So I'm assembling this. So this bit right here is going to replace that part. So I want to move this over to this and this. Okay, I need, yeah, it's going to do that. So now let's see what happens. And then this bit simply goes to the iframe and replaces the source. Or we may have had a problem with that. I can't remember. Okay, let's see if that changes. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so that worked. So the title is still in place. Now if I close it, uh-oh. So it's not updating. Why is it not updating? Okay, that's interesting. Why is it not? Let video URL. Okay. Which button out of it, listener. Okay, so let's see. What the video URL is doing. I'm guessing it's staying the same. Somehow, some way for the buttons. That's Empire Strikes Back. That should be Ghostbusters, but it's not. Okay, just a second. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So the problem is I made a boo-boo out here. So that element is static. Once it's called here, it's going to that same element, that value, that object. It's not affecting the iframe itself that is in the page. So I'm going to get rid of it there, and we're going to put it in here. So I'm going to get rid of these console logs. Put that there, but we're going to change it to let because it's going to change every time. Or it's going to fetch it again every time. I want it to, when a button's clicked, it's going to go look for that real quick. And I assume that query selector is pretty fast. There's an ID. Yeah. So fingers crossed. we will not need that. So there's Empire Strikes Back and playing. And there's Ghostbusters and it's playing. Can I go back? Yep. And can I do it more than once? Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. And so it's not even an extreme amount other than the function we had to call in. Yeah, I'm gonna post this to a gist, and or you know what, I could even post it to my child theme on GitHub and you'll just find it there. So yeah, it does require this extra function. Granted, we could have taken a slightly easier route, but it wouldn't have been easier for our administrators, for the site content managers, to add that extra data attribute to the button that just had the ID that we could have easily pulled out and manipulated. So this does help. And we could write this. So what if type of URL, if it's not a string, and I guess it's unable to be trimmed, then invalid input, return null. So it'll bail out there. And then try and catch. Huh, I've never used it that way. So new URL. Yeah, so you're feeding it the URL into the function, just like we did down here. So that target href, that's the href value of our button. Yeah, this thing right here. So it's feeding that to that function. And then this function does its thing and it parses the URL. Then we can pull the host name out. It pulls the parameters out. So if it has V, what is V? V is just the version, the V, whatever V stands for. So it gets it there. So standard URL. Okay, so it has the different cases. So if parse path name split. So if it doesn't have that, it'll keep going down here. Possible ID, I like that. Parts -1. So I'm guessing it's going to pull the last slash off the very end. ID length greater than 11, greater than or equal to, return possible ID. If it ends in a B. Okay, so it's, I mean, yeah, I get it. It's just covering all the bases, and that's cool, and that's very helpful. And you know what? I guess AI gave us this, and I suppose that's okay. I'm still struggling with AI a little bit. Not that I think it's going to take my job, just like I don't know. It's obviously helpful. That was nice. And then this is our function. So we did that all by ourselves, sort of, with the help of the internet. So yeah. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. Hope you can apply that to your stuff. I know I'm going to leave that in my child theme, and I'm going to, yeah, I'll post it to my child theme, so you'll find it on GitHub. And yeah, you guys have a great weekend and week and all that stuff, and I'll see y'all soon. Sorry for the long video. Please like, subscribe, all that awesome YouTube stuff, and appreciate you guys watching. Comment. Let me know if this is helpful, what you would do differently, if there are any problems, what you'd like to see next. I appreciate it.